says he will not fail you or abandon you. And therefore, he says, be brave and be strong. Be strong, take courage, and don't be intimidated. The Message version says God is striding ahead of you. Now, a stride is a different kind of step. It's not just walking. It's taking long, strong, sure steps. Amen? And so he's striding ahead of you. He's right there with you. He won't let you down, and he won't leave you. That is his promise to you. Well, what is the principle that I'm basing all of this on this morning? Is that in the midst of challenges, God gives instructions that clear the path for victory. Therefore, our confidence should never be shaken. We should rather see obstacles and difficulties as opportunities for refinement and greater fruitfulness. You see, if it's true that all things work to the good for those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose, that means that God uses every single thing that happens in your life. You know, years ago, I got hit by a car. I was walking across the street and I felt something bump me, and I looked and, oh, it's a car and it's moving. And it's not stopping. Okay, this is interesting. It was weird, the things that go through your mind at a time like that, because I saw Keanu Reeves. Remember that scene? When the truck was running over him and he managed to grab hold and he crawled on top of it and he went in the back and knocked the guy out. And that scene went through my mind and I thought, that's not going to happen today. So I just said, Jesus. And when I shouted, Jesus, the guy screeched to a halt. But by then the damage had been done, because I had actually literally grabbed the front of the truck and I was screaming, stop, and he was still driving. And I couldn't hold on. My coat was slippery. And I let go and I fell and I rolled into the street and I looked and he was still coming. So when he stopped, I was like, thank God. And he was so shook up from it all. But I was sharing with them, I ended up in bed for 1.5 years after that. I was literally disabled. I had ruptured my patella tendon, which is the thing that controls your whole leg. And I keloided on top of it, and I had to have 3 surgeries. I had to learn to walk again. They said I'd never go up and down stairs normally. I'd never wear heels again. And I said, the devil is a lie, because I'm not giving away my shoes. And but it was a very difficult year in my life. But it's weird because, it's almost like when you're going through things, don't you feel cocooned by the Spirit of God? It's like, it's not as horrific as you think it is in your brain. Mentally, your brain thinks one thing, but your spirit feels another thing. And I had this great peace throughout the whole thing. And God just loved on me through people so much. They took shifts. My friend took shifts. And they came and they fed me and literally carried me from place to place. And it was just the most amazing outpouring of love and support. It was very, very humbling. But in the midst of that, while I was in bed, because I am a happy sanguine and my attention span is like, I was so bored, I finally took up my mentor on finishing the book I had started 3 years before. And of course, the rest is history. I stand before you now because of that moment in my life. And so I'm here to tell you this morning that when you go through things, God can squeeze the best out of you in the midst of that circumstance. I wonder if I ever had that accident, if I would have ever finished my first book and ever been in ministry to this day. I won't know, but that was the vehicle God used to get me here standing before you today. So embrace every difficulty, embrace every obstacle, and instead of asking why, ask what? God, what do you want to do with this? How do you want to show yourself strong in my life? How do you want to glorify yourself? How do you want to pull fruit out of me in the middle of this situation? When you ask him those types of questions, he will answer you. If you ask why, you'll probably get silence or a why not you? Because suffering is relative, right? What's horrible to one person is nothing to the other. And so God uses whatever he has to do in our lives or allow into our lives to get the fruit that he's after in us.